Oh yeah, okay, cool. That was enough time to wait. Hey everyone, welcome back. Um, do this every time. Sorry, took so long. Um, Holidays were like really challenging this year. Um, Trying to be it was challenging for me as an individual, not just as like because we were really busy, but just dealing with family and frankly coming to terms with my own bad behaviors. But anyway, and figuring out some hormone stuff too. Been rough. Not like horrible, but just frustrating, and the state of my game's been rough. But it's on the right track. Anyway, maybe it was a little too intense right from the get go there. Double check that we're going okay. Alrighty. This is gonna be I say this every time, but it's gonna be a quick tip, just very quick. I just felt bad I haven't had a video. I have some good topics I want to do. I'm just still trying to recover from the change of my medication and stuff, basically. So and some emotional stuff. So yeah, basically we're just sorry, one sec. We're just it's just a quick tip for some stuff you can do with particles. It might seem obvious, it might not even be that great of a video, but I find that it's really powerful. It may not be obvious to others. So let's get to it. Go ahead and finish off that effect. So basically, like effects like that. We're talking specifically about those sparks and like something like this. A bad shot. So we're lagging a little bit. That's too bad. See it in step by step. Step through there, and we have all these particle effects. Kind of come around her like that. See, it might be obvious even from there. We're basically gonna just animate something else in a certain way to so we can kind of control the motion of those particles. Like with this one, it might not seem obvious, but the exact same thing. There's just sparks coming out the back. Oops. And they're just animating a transform basically around her. That there's a transform. It's not necessarily connected to her, it just matches the motion. Kind of stalls back there because I wanted it to be heavier. There's more sparks coming out the back. So yeah, there you go. How do you do it? Well, it's pretty easy. So here's that effect, more like along the ground. Play, and we're just rotating that around. Go to, there's a way to see it better. It's gonna lag a bit. This gets really laggy when you're doing like the prefab stuff. So here we have all of our different effects. So to here. So that's one. And you could just do it with one, like that other one with just the literal like sparks. It's just one effect. But on this one, effect is a little more layered, just to get the desired look. So we have like this core one that pops out and retracts real quickly, and then this one sort of emulates having a lot of actual particles, but it's just a single quad. It can look surprisingly good, even on modern games. We have a ton of resources. This one, I want to actually, this is beside the point, but just have more dust. I wish there was more sort of particles left in the air when she was done with that attack, especially like smoke. And then I have this like sort of straight out sort of muzzle flare, and then all together, kind of like that. It's kind of hard to see with the widgets in the way. I like that. Now we have all of those have like a separate offset. So these aren't necessarily like layered prefabs. You could, like I use this sort of full effect here all over in my game. Just that, just a basic sort of you know, bullet blast. I don't know. Um, and I basically just copied over because there's going to be little changes I'll do, like from effect to effect, like on this one. And I also have a light here. So anyway, we have this offset here. We have the base transform, right? Right here. And I have a separate pivot here. And that's actually, it's still in that same spot. But then we have that offset right here. That's where like all of our particles are going to go. And we just push it straight out to the front. And what's nice about this is like, I mean, basically the idea rather, or let's say it's nice, is that then we can just rotate this pivot around, which is what we do. Have this right here. Oh, what happened with the recent updates with Unity? It actually looked better with just a straight linear curve, so I just did that. And this is the bulk of it, right? So how do we, though, have all those particles? Because that's not actually what we see. We see this. Do it for me. Oh, nah, they didn't loop. Usually it can work. There's a way to do it better in there and it'll let you loop. But what we're doing is actually making these loop. So normally I wouldn't have these effects loop. But we're changing their position so drastically each frame, because this actually animates really quickly, is that they're in a new spot for their update. And you kind of have to just find a number that works. So right here, the duration is 0.15. And so we set all those to that. And we also need this hierarchy because the main animation is right here, right? And so that way, below in the hierarchy, we can start by turning looping on for all of these. And then as we go through, animate, right here, we turn the looping off. And it's important for a few reasons. Because with my implementation, the animator right here controls like the particle effects, is like how they instantiate and stuff like that. Oh, that looks really good right there. And so if we just like turn it off, then our particles will stop, you know what I mean? So we kind of need this, like, that was a bad way to describe it, but basically the trick there is to have this hierarchy and then also animate the looping option here. So once we get here, we just turn off the looping. So that way these particles, and they're also simulation spaces and world space. You keep it at local space, it'll actually follow along the transform even while they're animating, like the particles are exploding out. So that's the other part of it. I just want to keep it on that, on world space, so they stay out there. There's a little bit of extra here. And it's actually really long because in the actual game it animates really fast. And this extra little buffer time here is because in my implementation, again, that top animator controls when it lives and dies. And if you did it just right here where the spin ends, then your particles just turn off right there and it looks gross, right? You don't want that. You need those particles to finish animating. And there's different ways to do that. So, and there's a way to do it in the prefab thing there, but it is really laggy. So this up one more time. Go through and we'll show it in scene view. See the particles there. So we're right here. Pivot, it's tied to her. And another nice thing about it, and I'll show in a sec, is that with the implementations we've done in other videos, we can kind of control how that comes out. What do I mean by that? Well, I gotta fudge it up. When the animation's in play right now. Go ahead and just bring that up. See if my words have truth to them. So for one, we can scale it out. So help me remember 4.5. Yeah. Hit that. You can see it's much wider. So we can scale that out, which is really cool, in my opinion. Let's do the opposite just to show it off. Tight. That. Let's see how well this holds up. So I put that to 6. You can see it spread out more. So that was the, oh, go away, bro. Don't do it. So that went really fast. And so that means in between each space, like in between each frame, there's going to be more space. You may, if you have one that fast, you may need to double up your effects where you copy this and then you have it offset like by a half step. You know what I mean? So you're just shooting out more particles basically. I'll show it slower one. Show how they get kind of bunched together. It's just some things you have to consider. Just like that, you can see how slow that was. But what's cool is that by just animating the looping or not, is that this will work no matter what. So we do this really slow one, and they'll just keep happening, right? It has its own sort of cool style to it, where it happens after the fact. It's pretty BA. So yeah, it's just another thing there. Is that because we control the looping, they're just going to keep going until they stop, and it can be helpful. So now I got to think. Axis is 90 like this. So yeah, again with that implementation, then we can just rotate that main one. Better. See it sort of going around. Kind of hard to see. That's a better shot right there. Ran out of bullets. Sorry, you're seeing a lot of changes in place. The UI looks like shit, but the crud. Sorry. Shoot. Oh no. Google, don't do it. Yeah. And again, like it's the exact same thing here, except with the rotation. I hold it at the end there, just so the particles sort of, I mentioned it before, sort of bunch up right here. So they swoop around really quickly. And then I hold that rotation a bit, so there's just more particles just shooting out right there, just so it stays thick. And it's, rather than being like a complete circle, it's more of it's a different feel, basically. So, yeah, that basically does it. Again, it's a really quick video. I just felt bad about having, and I say that like every other video, I'm sorry. We are going to get back to the character action tutorial. Probably, because I kept saying that's probably what we're going to do next. I can't make promises. But it is what I'd like to do. Part of the reason I'm holding off on it is because, like I said during those videos, I'm gonna get better at it. You know, already I have a way better input buffer and sort of state machine system that I've redone for this game. Steel Caliber Slayers has a new name. And so, yeah, I guess I check the chat real quick. On chat, sweet, that's good. Minutes, that's good. So yeah, because I have so much new info, excuse me, like new expertise. What's the word? I don't know. I know better now. There's better ways that we can do it. I'm gonna redo parts of that tutorial. And I kind of hated like the aesthetic that we had, and I know it's like really minor, but when you're spending time in it, and I don't know. And the hope is to have it available on the asset store, either for free or very cheap, like $1 or $5. And the reason for that is like, A, we live in capitalism and it stinks, and we just have to suffer for a while until we get out of it. And B, there is that extra work like after the fact when you release stuff on the asset store, and especially if it works well, you're just going to have so many users, and there's just a lot of work that goes into that. So that's sort of a commitment when you do something like that. It might not seem like it if you've never done it, but And I haven't even ever done it. I just can't imagine so many assets, even free ones that I get, and they have all these problems, and it's like, ugh. Feel bad for the devs because they have to deal with millions of different PC builds, millions of different Unity builds, and it just gets hard. Anyway, not on long enough. Could have left it with some cool effects going. Oh yeah, I meant to show real quick, like that same spark effect, just dragging along the character. You can see, maybe it might not mean much to you, but I find it's nice because even though this spark effect is like kind of simple, getting it perfect is hard. And once you get it there, sorry, there's stuff in the way. You can use it for more stuff, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, this is similar to that other VFX tutorial, but it's more like how to apply it to particles. I mean, I find it really awesome. It looks really good. It's really quick. Especially with particle-y type effects, you can kind of have different motions and shapes and things that I hope you'll experiment with. Cool ideas. Anyway, thank y'all for watching. Patreon's going up. Thank y'all so much. It's been really good despite lack of activity. Development on the game's going real good. It's changed a lot. It's good though. And I'm really excited. Check out her new sword, looking cool. Thank y'all so much for the support. That is patreon.com/culture attack. Been bad at updating on there, and I think I need to. I don't know if it matters too much, but I think some people do sort of engage through the Patreon, just the videos or whatever. Follow me on Twitter @cultureattack. If you have questions or want to hang, do game dev together, let me know. And thank y'all very much. It's really helpful. Like it means the world to me. And just hearing and what y'all do and then seeing the gifs that y'all post, the videos I made, that's the mission here, That's one of my missions in life. I know that seems really big, but is to share, free and open sharing of information and techniques so that we can all make games. There's a lot I need to know about like developing environments. I'm rambling, I'm sorry. That I know I'm doing it the wrong way, and it's just I find it hard to find info. And I think that's true for a lot of things in game development. Some people learn it, through college or academies and things like that. It's not like word. Anyway, I'm rambling real bad now. Thank y'all so much. If you have questions, let me know. Keep making games. You're all great. Bye.